Burger buns, hot dog buns, there's lots of different recipes for each. I think this is the perfect recipe for both, so let's give it a go. So we have 380 grams of strong flour, 70 grams of all-purpose flour, 140 ml of milk and 140 ml of lukewarm water. We've got an egg, we've got 30 grams of granulated sugar, 30 grams of butter, teaspoon and a half of salt and 7 grams of instant yeast. So first job is to start to activate the yeast. So into the lukewarm water, we'll give that a good stir, and we're just going to dissolve all of that yeast. And we'll just get it foamed up. If it doesn't start to foam up after 5-10 minutes, I would maybe try another yeast. Your yeast might be out of date, or it's just not going to work. So the yeast foamed up nicely there, so that's activating. So we'll start with the dry ingredients, and I'm just using the stand mixer today. You don't have to. You could do this by hand and knead it by hand. We'll add the salt and the sugar, and then I'm just going to give that a quick stir up. That'll do. And then the wets, so the milk and the water with the yeast. And the egg. Just start slow because it's going to want to chuck everything out of that bowl if it can. Right, so once that's combined, we can then, it seems fairly dry, but it'll soon change with the butter. So we'll just add the butter. And we're just going to combine that until that butter is totally combined with the dough. Just going to let it rest for 5 minutes, and all that's going to do is just going to let the flour hydrate with the liquids. So 5 minutes or so, then we're going to go through the kneading process. Right, so that's had 5 minutes to chill, relax and hydrate itself. So now we're going to knead it, and I'd say 6 or 7 minutes. And there's a funny thing with kneading it. Let's start it going. I think a lot of people think you have to knead on a slow speed. You can increase the speed. I think the reason being is because of you can get heat build-up. So as long as your bowl isn't getting too hot, I mean, one idea is put that bowl in the fridge before you start. It's going to help keep it cool, but I tend to run at a medium sort of speed, and it works fine. So 6-7 minutes, and we should start to have a really nice smooth dough. So that's looking nice and smooth. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to transfer it into another bowl. You could just prove it in this bowl, but I always find that if I do that, I then think, oh, I'm going to use the mix for something else. So I just put it in another bowl. So I'm just going to use some cooking spray. Just lightly oil the bowl. Cooking spray, olive oil. I'm using cooking spray with virgin coconut oil. Coconutty. stop that. And then I'm just going to put a little bit on my hands just to stop the dough sticking. So you should have a nice sort of smooth dough now. And all I'm going to do, I'm just going to get a little bit of tension, just a little bit more oil. Just going to get a little bit of tension into the surface of it, just by stretching it. And what you're doing is you're stretching that top surface. And then that is going to go in the bowl. And that is going to prove for, depends on the temperature of your room. Ideally you want to be 25 degrees above or slightly above. And to me it's probably going to take about 2 hours total to prove. So that's our dough nicely proved there. So we'll just flour the work surface. And a little bit of flour in your hands. And then we'll just tip this onto the work surface. You will knock all the air out doing that, don't worry about that, that's fine. Right, so what we're going to get out of this, let's see. I'm going to get 6 good size burger rolls I'm going for today. So you could weigh them all and get them all exact size. It's not that important to me. If somebody gets a slightly bigger bun than the other person, it's fine. Right, so I'm using these nice little tins because I want little straight sides on my burger buns. So what I'll do is get the piece of dough. And I'm going to just get a little bit of tension into the surface of it, just by stretching the side, stretching the top up, down, and you get this nice little bun shape. And just sit that nicely in the middle. So they've had the second proof. They've more than, I would say, slightly more than doubled in size, which is pretty right. And for these, I'm just going to go with a milk wash. I'm not using egg. And then a burger bun isn't a burger bun to me unless it's got sesame seeds on. So going with sesame seeds. Right, so they're now going to, what I've done with the oven, it's set at 220 degrees C, but as soon as I put it in, I'm going to turn that down to 180 degrees, and then they're going to take around about 25 minutes, maybe slightly more, just when you get a nice golden brown to them. I've also put a tray of cold water in the bottom of the oven, which is going to give us a little bit of steam, which is just going to help with the rise. Right, that's them fresh out of the oven. They're looking good. I like these. So I've got a nice golden colour. You could go a little bit darker, or you could go a little bit lighter. If you want to go lighter, what you need to do is put tin foil over the top when you're part of the way cooking. So they'll carry on cooking, but you're not going to sort of darken the tops. But I think these are about right. And you can see they'll just lift out nice and easy, but they feel nice and light. That's the key thing for a burger bun. So right, we'll let them cool, and then we'll try one out. So it's still a little bit warm, but I mean, you can see how soft and springy they are. Yeah, nice buns. We just tear into that. It's lovely soft. Really good. It's got a nice sweetness to it as well. They're going to be perfect for our burgers. Really good. So give us a like if you like this video, and remember to subscribe, because there'll be more bread videos, and obviously we'll be using these buns in another video, these ones, but they're so good. We'll see you next time, guys. That honestly is the best bread roll I've ever made in my life. It tastes so good. I haven't tasted a bread roll as good as that, like. No. Come try it.